Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, nothing special going on here, no special effects. It's just me reading books, talking about books, recommending books for you to read. As you know, I'd appreciate it if you did the thumbs up, hit the like and subscribe there. I just saw somebody hit 10,000 subscribers the other day. And I'm like, I can't even reach 200. I've been doing this over a year now. I know other peeps, they reach 1,000 in a month. Not me. So anyways, we've been doing my series, J.D. Robb. We're almost finished. We're almost to Random and Death. Got 2 more books to go. I can do my unboxing. It's still in the box. I've left it in the box. I haven't even opened it yet. And we are finishing up. This is the second to last book. And then we will be at the author's mercy for the next one. And this was really, it had some really sad moments. It had some really poignant moments. It was just awesome. I was crying at the end. We lose Lucy, but not that way, but we lose Lucy. We gain some new family members. We catch up with the JP's family. We are doing J.A. Jance, Sins of the Father. And apparently, you'll have to go back and see my book review. I've done all of the J.P. Beaumonts. This is book 24 in the series. As you know, I am a series person. All those books up there are series. And all the books that we do, most of the time, there may be 1 or 2 that I'll do here and there. But most of the books I do are series books. I'd appreciate it if you checked out my Flashback Monday and my Star Trek Fridays. So anyway, you have to check for this book, if you've not read the entire series, it would be helpful to read Failure to Appear. It was book 11 in the series, and that is where JP has a one-night stand with this lady called Jasmine Day, and unknowns to him, he has produced a child with said lady. And that was in the book time frame. It's 30 years ago. And the girl is 30 years old now. So anyways, we catch up with our family, and I love the prologue. And I was thinking about just doing a separate prologue. Because this summarizes all the stuff. My name is JP. My name is Beaumont, JP Beaumont. JP is short for Jonas Piedmont, but that's a long story. Recently, I've learned that sometimes when life hands you the unexpected, you just have to run with it. For instance, I never expected to retire from police work. Far too many of my fellow cops tend to die while still in harness, but not necessarily in the line of duty. Unless stress-related illness like too much booze, high blood pressure, early onset heart ailments, and suicide fall into the category. I spent most of my career working the homicide unit at the Seattle PD and was happy to do so until all of a sudden I wasn't. Why? Because Kramer got promoted, and Kramer was his arch nemesis, and Kramer got promoted, and he couldn't stand Kramer. Kramer was, I'm doing this to move up the ranks. I'm not doing this to solve a case or find a killer. I'm doing this because I want a promotion. And JP just couldn't stand it. And the guy has moved up. So he quit. But what is it they say about one door closing and another opening? At the time I quit Seattle PD, Ross Allen Connors, who was the Washington State Attorney General at the time, came calling and asked me to go work for him on his special homicide investigation team, fondly referred to as the Shit Squad. And he worked for that for a few books, and he met his wife, Mel Soames, and they're having a beautiful relationship. But then Ross Connors died, and there was a car accident. So the Shit Squad came to an end, and JP was forced into retirement. He's got a lot of money. If you've read the books, you know that he inherited a substantial amount of money from his second wife, and the lady that gave him the the red car. But then a few months ago, he was trying to enjoy retirement. He bought a house. He still has Belltown Towers, but he bought a house, and he said they eat out quite often, which they do. But months earlier, he had been drafted into helping solve the homicide of a longtime acquaintance, former Seattle Post intelligence reporter Max Cole. Now, there were some little discrepancies in that book. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm here. Yes, ma'am. I'm paying attention to you. I see you. Maxwell Cole dated his first wife, Karen, before JP did. And JP always thought that Maxwell was mad at him because he's met Karen after Maxwell did. He's always thought that Maxwell thought he had first dibs on Karen, but then Karen ended up marrying JP. But what we didn't know until after Max's death, it was revealed in the book that Maxwell Cole was gay, but we did not know that up until this point. And he was in the middle of Maxwell Cole was in the middle of an investigation, and that's what caused his death. And also during that time frame, they adopted an Irish wolfhound named Lucy, and she has become very much part of the family. And he got very attached to the dog. And he talks about his first wife and all that kind of stuff. But then the book starts off with someone comes to his front door. You probably don't remember me. My name is Alan Dale. Way back, I used to be head carpenter with the traveling show company. I was with Jasmine Day when she played the Fifth Avenue Theater down in Seattle years ago. This is my granddaughter, Athena, he added, gesturing toward the infant, whose face was completely obscured by a pink receiving blanket. May we come in? 30 years flashed by in an instant. Jasmine Day had been a former rock singer who seemed destined for real stardom until her career was derailed by drug and alcohol abuse, not unlike what happened to Janis Joplin. The difference between the two is that Janis died young, while Jasmine went through treatment and got well. Once out of rehab, she reinvented herself as a jazz singer. Jasmine had been in Seattle playing a two-night gig at the Fifth Avenue when the investigation into the death of a local stand-hand had placed her directly in my path and blown her comeback tour to smithereens. And he'd had a one-night stand with her in that book, and that's Failure to Appear. That's book 11 that handles all this. So, JP, Alan Dale wants to hire JP to find his daughter Naomi. Naomi gave birth to Athena in the hospital, and a few hours after giving birth, abandoned her daughter. And it's later revealed that because it's a good thing that a relative was there and was able to claim custody of the child. Otherwise, the child would have gone into foster care, and Naomi would have lost her daughter forever and never been able to see her. But so Alan Dale comes in and he says the relative had to go home, and he is the kid's grandfather, and he wants to get custody, but he also needs Naomi to sign off to give him custody of said child. He says that Naomi left the hospital after giving birth, and he's trying to find her. He needs JP to find her. Alan tells JP about his life since he last saw him 30 years ago. Alan tells him the story about how him and Jasmine with the birth of Naomi, and he gives JP a picture of Naomi, and JP immediately, spontaneously, instantly sees that Naomi could be his daughter Kelly's twin. And then he realizes that Naomi is his daughter and that Athena is his granddaughter. So Mr. Allen is not very well financially off. He's using all of his life savings in the hotel and rental car, whatever. So JP offers him to stay in Belltown Terrace. He offers to eventually buy him a car. He investigates Naomi. He ends up finding her in a shelter. There's also a homeless guy that hangs out near his apartment, and he enlists the homeless guy because the homeless guy is happy with his situation and doesn't want to improve. JP says, I will give you a reward if you help find this person, because the person is a homeless person, and what better person to find the homeless person than a homeless person. So it gave him a mission, and it gave the guy a few extra dollars in his pocket. So JP gave him quite a bit of money. And he ends up finding Naomi in a homeless camp. And that's how JP and Naomi finally meet up. But it takes a couple of chapters. So he calls Mel. He talks to Mel about this. His wife, Mel. JP talks to Mel, his wife, and she spontaneously, instantly sees that Naomi is JP's kid. He looks at the picture. And she just sees it. So then, just a second here. So Alan, tells JP that he wants to hire him to find Naomi, but he doesn't have any money. And once JP realizes that Naomi is his kid and all that kind of stuff, he does it for free. And he has Alan come stay in the Belltown Terrace. He's going to put him up. He's going to buy him groceries. He's going to get him food. He's going to get him kid supplies. He's going to do the whole 9 yards. So then JP does investigation. He calls in a few favors, get Naomi's last address, meets a neighbor, Hilda, who is the greatest person on earth. She's fantastic. She helps JP with a tremendous lot of things. We do that. Then we've discovered that Naomi's was in a relationship with this guy Pete, and this guy Pete stormed off one day, said he saw a sign and he was gonna go get money, and she didn't know what he meant by that, and it is later revealed in the book what he meant by that. And because of that particular situation, unknowns to my Naomi, Pete was murdered. So there's an investigation ongoing as to who murdered Pete. And then JP uncovers other family members who were also entitled to funds. Apparently, the great-great-grandfather was quite wealthy in the early 70s, and he left a will, and he left everything to the wife. And the wife left everything to her descendants also. And it's the descendants that were being knocked off one by one. And nobody was putting the clues together until JP came to it and started going, oh, wait a minute, what about this? What about this? Oh, wait a minute, they died the same. Oh, wow, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. Oh. And he investigates, and he calls in different favors. He calls Todd, our favorite iTech guy. He spends a lot of time with Hilda. Hilda does a lot. He helps Alan out with the social worker. And he investigates, and it turns out there's about 3 or 4 different murders. He ends up with a detective, and one of the suspects does a lot of gambling, and she reported a car stealing, and there's something hinky there. So you'll find out those details in the book. This was just such a good book. And JP's getting to know Athena, his granddaughter. He's getting to know Naomi. They get her into a shelter. And she's still a little resistant to pursue any types of relationships. She has to get over her drug addiction first. She has to want to do stuff for herself first before she can pursue other relationships. She's happy that her daughter will be safe with her father for a while. Alan. She doesn't find out to the end of the book that JP is her biological father and what happens there. And after that, JP has to confess to Scotty and Kelly, his kids, about what happened there. And you'll have to see how they take this revelation that their father was promiscuous 30 years ago. And it's a really, really good book. And the stuff with Lucy at the end had me crying my eyes out. And Mel Soames is so supportive of him. And we do get a little Ralph Ames in here. We don't see too many of JP's other friends, but it's good that he has the detective investigation license now, PI, private investigator's license. But it was bringing all this information in and recapping the series up till this point, and you just have to. It's such a good book. I would probably give it 4 stars because it has. Not only does it have all the relationship angst, the character progression that I want from a series, that I want to see. I want to see how the characters are improving, how they've grown from the last book. But the recapping, we have the mystery, we have a murder, we have an investigation, we have people to find. I like to have the character situation, but I also need a mystery to get forward. I can't have a flat out romance or mushy stuff. I need to have your mystery. I need to have a puzzle to solve. I need to have something to look forward to. And it is such a good book. It hits all those check marks. Mystery, character development, character growth. It's a series. We're learning about what's happened to all the characters from previous books. This was such a good book. I hope you have the chance to check it out. And please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. I'd really appreciate it. I'm the kind of girl who fantasizes about being locked in the library. There you go. Please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you.